During the Last Dance documentary, Michael Jordan denied the rumor that he had kept Isiah Thomas off the Dream Team. But audio has now come out of Jordan telling NBA reporter Jack McCallum that he wouldn't play if Isiah was on the team. So, Shannon, what do you make of this?
What? Jed, I know he didn't say that. Now, either am I supposed to believe Michael Jordan or my lying ears? Now, he sat up there and cried and talked about, if you don't want to play this way, I pushed and I dragged guys. You lied. And I told Skip Bayless you were lying. And I told Skip Bayless Rod Thorne sit up there and told a bold-faced lie. I said, Skip, if he didn't explicitly say, he implicitly implied it. Come to find out, he said it. This is a quote from Michael Jordan. Rod Thorne called me. I said, Rod, I won't play if Isiah Thomas is on the team. He assured me. He said, you know what? Chuck doesn't want Isiah, so Isiah is not going to be a part of the team. They didn't ask him about Chuck. They didn't ask him about Patrick Ewing. They didn't ask him about Stockton, Malone, or Chuck. They didn't ask him. They said, did you? He said no. Come to find out, he lied. And you know what, Skip? Michael Jordan was the only guy that mattered. You know that. So in other words, he did keep Isiah Thomas. And Isiah Thomas should have the vitriol and the dislike for Michael Jordan, not Michael Jordan for Isiah. You kept this man with a blank on his resume because he would have made the 8 Olympic team, Skip. They got boycotted. They went to Moscow. So he potentially could have had a gold medal. You kept this man off that team, Mike. So now, Skip, you know when you utter one lie, I get to call into question everything else you've ever uttered. Because when do I know that you're telling the truth? Now, we know he'll lie. We know he dry snitched. Talk about guys up in their room with girls and all that other stuff. Ain't nobody ask you all that. No comment. Oh, dry snitching, lying Mike.
So, are you suggesting that this proves it once and for all that LeBron is the GOAT? Is this what you're reaching for? Is this the little thread that you're hanging your argument on?
No.
It's a tiny little thread. The Isiah thread is why you're saying LeBron is the GOAT and not Jordan?
No, I just want you to admit, I want you to admit publicly for all our 20 million fans to say Michael Jordan lied and you were wrong that he did keep Isiah off that team. That's all I want. If you do that, that's all I want, Skip Bayless. That's all I want.
There were some semantics going on in the answer Jordan gave on The Last Dance. There was some plausible deniability going on there. But in the end, it really didn't matter exactly what Michael Jordan thought because nobody wanted Isiah. You keep trying to pin this whole thing on Michael Jordan when you should pin it on the entire team starting with Magic Johnson, who at that point in 1992 had more clout than Michael Jordan did. Allow me, before you go on, to read the quote out of Magic's book. Magic did a book with Jackie McMullen with Larry Bird about when the game was ours. That's the title of the book. And in it, I'm going to read the quote from Magic Johnson about the Isiah controversy. Isiah killed his own chances when it came to the Olympics. Nobody on that team wanted to play with him. I'm sad for Isiah. He has alienated so many people in his life, and he still doesn't get it. This is from Magic Johnson, and he concludes, you should be aware when you've ticked off more than half the NBA. That's his concluding statement about Isiah Thomas, that you're gnashing teeth over it, that you're having, your heart is broken for poor Isiah, when even the great David Robinson spoke out 2 weeks ago. David Robinson, who never said a cross word about anybody, the Admiral, and he just laughed at this whole notion saying, no, we didn't want him because chemistry matters when you're trying to go win the world championship.
Oh, man, stop it. Chemistry wouldn't matter in that situation.
Isiah didn't fit in their chemistry. It didn't work. So let's go to these. Yeah.
Can I ask you one question before you go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
If Michael Jordan says, Rod Thorne, I'm not playing in the Olympics unless Isiah is on that team, would it have mattered that Charles Barkley, David Robinson, and Magic Johnson, would it have mattered if they say they don't want to play with Isiah if Jordan says, I'm not playing unless he's on that team? A simple yes or a simple no. I don't need semantics. A simple yes or a simple no. Would it have mattered?
No. I mean, I don't think
Exactly.
Magic could have killed the deal. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's go to
Thank
this
you.
quote. All right, let's go to what Jordan actually said on The Last Dance about this controversy. He said that Rod Thorne, who, by the way, did draft him when Rod was running the Bulls in 1984,
Yep.
Rod Thorne calls
Correct.
and says, hey, we would love you to play for the Dream Team. And Michael says back to him, who's all playing? And then Michael goes on to say that Rod Thorne answers, what does that mean? I say, who's all playing? He says, well, the guy you're talking about or you're thinking about, he's not going to be playing. So semantics are going on here, plausible deniability. This is on The Last
Exactly.
Dance. He's actually telling you that they're talking about Isiah without talking about Isiah. Michael's point was the name itself didn't actually need to be brought up because everybody knew who they were talking about. Nobody on
That's
the team
not what he
wanted
said to
Isiah.
Jack. Skip. That's
Okay.
not what he said to
But
Jack
he-
McCallum.
okay.
That's not what he said.
Okay, but he says in those lost tapes, Jack McCallum, longtime friend of mine, great reporter, I buy this 1,000%. So Michael's talking off the cuff to Jack McCallum. I think these are like 1992 tapes. I don't know when they're from. Maybe they're just from recently. I'm not sure. But they're older tapes. And the point is in the tape that he says Chuck doesn't want Isiah. And at first I thought he meant Charles Barkley. He means Chuck Daly, the head coach. So we could even throw the head coach on this list of people on that team and in that selection process who did not want Isiah Thomas. Chuck Daly, no. Magic, no.
I don't believe that, Skip. So now, hold on, wait a minute, Skip. Hold on. I'm not finna let you do that man like this. That man is not here to defend himself. Now, so many times we'll say things that people saying that are not here or not in a position to defend themselves. Now you're going to talk about Chuck Daly. The man had just won Chuck Daly 2 titles, and now Chuck Daly can't stand the man. Chuck Daly doesn't want to coach the man. Y'all need to stop this. Michael Jordan said, I said, Rod, I will not play. I won't play if Isiah Thomas is on the team. He assured me that Isiah would not be on that team. So, Skip, stop dealing with semantics. Now, we can deal with semantics and say, Shannon Sharp is a dark complexion fella. I'm black. Ain't no semantics. Call it what it is. I'm a big black guy.
Okay.
Ain't no dark-skinned fella. I'm black. I'm tired of these semantics. Get it? Skip Bayless, you think you slick. You won't admit it. I need you to...
Black
What?
and white. Black and white is nobody on that team wanted Isiah Thomas. Black and white. That's it. There's no gray area. Nobody on the team wanted him. And by the way, speaking of the great Chuck Daly, all right, go.
All I'm saying is, Skip, the only guy that mattered was Michael. He was the only guy that mattered because guess what, Skip? Nobody else had a gold medal. Mike already had one. He said it. I already had a gold medal from '84. Nobody else on the team had one because after that, Skip, because at '88, David Robinson lost. He got the bronze. Remember, Skip? They got beat. That's what made them start sending the pros to the Olympics. They got the bronze in '88. They boycotted in '80. They won the Olympics in '84 because they was held right here in LA. '88, they lost in Seoul. '92 in Barcelona. So the only guy that mattered was Michael Jordan. You know it. And he kept that man off it. He got a hole in that man's resume. I hope he sleep good at night. I hope he sleep real good at night knowing what you did.
Time out. Okay, so they chose as the backup point guard to Magic Johnson, John Stockton. All he did in his career was set unbreakable records for assists and steals. Unbreakable. I don't see how any human will ever eclipse John Stockton's assists and steals. So he's the backup. He soon broke his leg. He healed much quicker than they thought. But the backup to the backup, next in line on the depth chart was somebody from Detroit not named Isiah Thomas. It was Joe Dumars. Everybody wrote that the next man up for the backup point guard was Joe Dumars. I've told you from the start, Isiah was seen as more of a two guard than a point guard. So Joe Dumars was next, but no, he was a two guard masquerading as a point guard. He could distribute pretty well, but what he did best was score the basketball. And in the end, when it came down to the final cut, they announced that it came down to actually a two-guard final cut between Clyde Drexler and Isiah Thomas. Two guards. And in the end, they picked Clyde Drexler just because he's taller, longer, a little better defender maybe than Isiah. But in the end, it's personality. The ultimate bad boy, Piston, was Isiah. Difficult to get along with. As Magic said, Magic was close friends with Isiah. Remember, they used to kiss each other before those finals games. And even Magic turned on Isiah and said, I can't defend him. He's alienated half the league. And he had alienated the whole team in 1992.
You know what I find so funny? You know what I find so funny about this? Is that Magic and Larry, Larry, they didn't say anything about Larry, but Magic and Jordan, the guys that had that